All right. Hello. The Back to Basics 5-star chapter plan workshop. The teams presenting today are Amber, Aaliyah, Abri, that's me, Brandy, Crystal, and Denise from Alpha Gamma Pi of Austin Community College, and
Micah, Victoria, Preston, Miss Gigi Delk, and Zachary, that's me, from the Alpha Omicron chapter of Tyler College, or Tyler Junior College in Tyler, Texas, the Rose capital for Texas. Because our chapters are different sizes, TJC has 12,000 students, ACC has 41,000. Our friends at Alpha Gamma Pi will start with the way their chapter handles the 5-star development plan. The Alpha Omicron will share what we do. It is easy to see that we are following the same plan, but we have adapted it to our own respective campuses.
the 5-star chapter plan is Phi Theta Kappa's guide offering levels of engagement, with each level consisting of prescribed activities to build a strong, active chapter. Chapters are encouraged to set goals at the beginning of each calendar year to reach a certain level based on PTK activities and programs they participate in. Obtaining 5-star status shows that a chapter is fully engaged, and our chapters are here today to provide some helpful tips and tricks to show just how easy that can be. In our presentation, we will walk you through the 5-star levels to show you how it's done. Amber will kick us off with 1-star level.
All right, y'all. We all know that the best place to start is with number 1. What I want to focus on is the requirement to organize at least one membership recruitment campaign. Chapters must create awareness of PTK on campus, identify eligible students, outline a recruitment plan that includes setting a goal to be recognized as a Reach Rewards chapter, invite eligible students, conduct in-person and/or virtual informational meetings about benefits, encourage eligible students to join, and hold an in-person or virtual induction ceremony. Now, if you've seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you know that nothing screams opportunity quite like a golden ticket. And that's how Alpha Gamma Pi first seeks to attract eligible students. Our esteemed advisors, Professor Mary Coles and Dr. Reed Peoples, identify PTK eligible students and then have the golden postcards sent out to them. As seen here, we first congratulate students on their success at being PTK eligible on the front of the card. On the back, we mentioned the tremendous scholarship opportunities afforded to PTK members. We then invite students to attend one of our 3 orientation meetings where they can learn more about PTK, our chapter, and also give them contact information in case they would like to schedule a one-on-one orientation. If they're already a member, the returning member meeting is also listed. Finally, we list our chapter's website, the PTK website, and the accreditation of PTK.
Alpha Omicron loves the idea of the golden postcard. You should too.
All right, but what if students didn't see their golden postcard, or if students want to know what to strive for to join in the next semester? We make sure to post bulletin boards on each of our college campuses. Bulletin boards should always be eye-catching and succinct, a quick read with all the necessary information. Here's an example of one of our bulletin boards. On our bulletin boards, we ensure that our colors pop and that we have bright images to attract the eye. We have the PTK eligibility requirements, a QR code and link address for our website, information on PTK, a quick FAQ, and even a business card for our campus vice president so that students can reach out to them personally with questions. Now, how about inductions? As the semester closes, Alpha Gamma Pi rewards its members with an induction ceremony. We want to congratulate all of our members for a job well done through recognition of their engagement in the chapter. We start with the history of PTK and our chapter and announce the number of new inductees to the organization. This is followed by a keynote speaker address, a welcoming of members, and introduction to the symbols of PTK. Here we have a picture from one of Alpha Gamma Pi's induction ceremonies. We also personally name each new and returning member along with their member level. We happily recognize our chapter advisors and welcome a new guest speaker along with a member of our alumni association. Chapter and alumni scholarships are then announced and presented. The ceremony then closes with recognition of the previous semester's officers and formal inductions of the new officer team. Here's a picture from Alpha Omicron's most recent inductions.
Getting a 2-star level requires organizing chapter leadership and engaging members through recruitment campaigns. One way that Alpha Gamma Pi achieves this is through an enhanced membership program. Now, enhanced membership is not at all required, but it is a method our chapter uses to engage students. The chapter offers 3 tiers of membership: bronze, silver, and gold, based on how active students are in the chapter. Another way that we promote our chapter is through the use of a handbook. Each semester, we offer students access to a handbook containing the contact information of all chapter officers, advisors, and alumni officers, the history of Phi Theta Kappa in our chapter, the purpose and mission of PTK, ways to achieve enhanced membership, all of our meeting dates, and much more. By offering this on our website, we can give students a clear idea of what PTK is, how active our chapter is, and what they can do to get involved. Another way to recruit students is by hosting tabling events on campus. Every year, our chapter hosts an event called Riverbed Bash, where organizations and community partners have tables to promote and discuss their organizations. Now, every campus has these just under different names and is the perfect place to speak with students. We also reach out to administration to see if we can host a table at school events. For instance, Alpha Omicron has a chapter 10 set up at a campus resource fair. This can also be done at a transfer fair because of PTK's connection with four-year universities and scholarships. We all know that PTK looks great on a college application.
Now, to achieve that coveted 3-star status, your chapter will need to get involved at the regional level. And I know this may seem scary, but the region provides an enriching experience for members and can only help your chapter succeed. One of the first things you can do, and perhaps the most daunting, is campaigning for regional office. You have 2 different roles that your chapter can apply for, either vice president for your district or regional president. Here's a picture from the skit our chapter put on during the most recent Texas Regional Convention as a part of our campaign. We did a playful take on the Wizard of Oz with a Phi Theta Kappa twist. And our chapter ran for District 5 VP, and guess what? We won. Alpha Omicron skit featured Spider-Man learning teamwork with the help of PTK members, and they won the District 3 Vice President position. Congratulations, y'all. Another way to get involved is to collaborate online or in person with at least 2 other chapters for an activity or event. One way that we've been doing this is through working with other chapters on what we call Fellowship Friday. Here's a picture from last semester's Fellowship Friday event. Throughout the day, different chapters hosted events such as bingo, Gardic phone, Jeopardy, meditation, and even yoga, all virtual. And another great way to get involved is through service. Here we have Alpha Omicron participating in an Adopt a Highway project, and Alpha Gamma Pi fighting for equity and justice alongside Councilman Greg Kassar. Never be afraid to reach out to the region for interest in group volunteering efforts. And finally, how about checking off 2 boxes for 1? To achieve 3-star, your chapter must have a representative participate virtually or in person in at least 1 regional meeting or region-sponsored event. What better way to do that than by also hosting a regional workshop? Here you can see a screenshot from a presentation put on by Alpha Gamma Pi and Eta Beta. Whether your team meets virtually or in person, you can all work together to inform other chapters about something your chapter is knowledgeable on. So help each other out.
Getting to a 4-star level is all about college project participation and Hallmark submissions. College Project is a unique project designed to strengthen the chapter's relationship with the college administration and supports the college's mission. In Alpha Gamma Pi, participating in both college project and honors in action are always a must, not an optional activity, but a regular part of our annual plans and committees.
It's easy to get a bit overwhelmed when members and advisors try to wrap their heads around everything Phi Theta Kappa does. That's why we start with the back to the basics and share a few important definitions to get everybody on the same page. The hallmarks of Phi Theta Kappa is what the organization is known for: scholarship, leadership, service, and fellowship. When you plan a project, it should speak to each other of the 4 hallmarks to be successful. At the end of the year, chapters do hallmark reports, specific categories of reports that detail the scholarship, leadership, and service and fellowship activities of your chapter. The chapter advisors or chapter president reports 5-star progress during the year on the PTK website. Phi Theta Kappa calendar year runs January through December. Many of the steps in the 5-star chapter program are pretty self-explanatory. For example, to advance the 5-star program, your chapter must hold 2 induction ceremonies. It doesn't say when or how, just that you have to have 2 chapter inductions between January and December. Make sense? There are only 2 projects required for a chapter to be a 5-star, just 2: the college project and the honors in action project.
The formula for college project is fairly straightforward. Your first milestone will be meeting with your administration. Be prepared to listen to the admin ideas, offer chapter ideas if asked, and read your college mission and vision statements before the meeting. Ask meaningful questions. Focus on the whys and the hows. Why is your project important, and how will it make an impact on your student community? Conduct research. Collect research data to support your questions and the need for change. And remember, review the judging rubrics before and during your project for reference. Analyze the data. What does the data you found tell you? Be flexible and willing to change directions when needed.
The college project is a single project or series of related projects that the administration asks the chapter to do. The decision on the project is a collaborative effort between your administrators and your chapter, focused on improving communication between the 2 teams of leaders. The college project is designed to strengthen the relationship and support between administrators and your PTK chapter.
We covered the preparation for college project, but some additional tips on getting started include talking to your fellow members, having clear goals outlined, organizing regular meetings, and just take the first step.
The Alpha Omicron chapter tries to start preparation for the college project in the spring, reviewing the mission statement of the college to see where our administration's focus is. We try to start meetings with our administrators during the summer months and plan to have the college project up and running by the start of the fall semester. Successful college projects make your administration much more likely to work with your chapter on research, surveys, and requirements of the Honors and Actions project. The TJC administrators tasked Alpha Omicron with providing access to COVID vaccines to students and faculty. Our chapters planned and hosted 6 successful campus-wide COVID vaccine clinics on our campus, and in turn, our administration was willing to let the institutional effectiveness office work with our chapter later on to send out to surveys across the campus to give us information we needed in our Honors and Actions projects. It is very important to map out a timeline for both the college project and the Honors and Actions project. All
The
right.
Hallmark Awards are Phi Theta Kappa's prestigious, highly competitive awards program recognizing individuals, chapters, and regions for excellence in Phi Theta Kappa programming, priorities, and membership development. There are many Hallmark Awards that can be submitted, and you're encouraged to recognize the hard work of your members, officers, advisors, and college project and honors and action teams. The guidelines are on the PTK website, along with examples of past projects. If you're new to Hallmark write-ups or not feeling confident with them, then your college project Hallmark write-up is a great choice to start with. All the work on your college project should have been documented and recorded while the project is going on, so it should be straightforward to adapt for a Hallmark submission.
All right, and now we welcome you to the anticipated 5-star level. Woo woo! I'll be walking y'all through how any chapter can achieve a 5-star status with the resources that are available to you. All right, so let's get ready to break down all your 5-star chapter needs by going over how to get that final star for our 5-star chapters. So there are 3 main goals for your chapter to meet at that 5-star level. The first of these 3 goals would be to create an honors and action project. Second, to submit at least 3 Hallmark Award entries. This includes the Honors and Action Project Award, the College Project Award, and at least 1 individual award of your chapter's choosing. And then third, to get involved with PTK at the international level. Let's go into a little bit more detail on each of these 3 categories. First, we'll delve into one of my personal favorites, Honors and Action. We know it can be easy to be intimidated by a big long-term project like Honors and Action, but we're here to tell you not to let your worries impede your ability to create an awesome project. To provide a little bit of background on Honors and Action, also known as HIA, let's talk about what the project really is. Honors and Action is a program under Phi Theta Kappa International that is designed to engage students in informed and intentional action. That's meant to foster student success and to help the organization fulfill its mission of providing college students opportunities to grow as scholars and as leaders. In Honors and Action, students will engage in an academic research process by exploring themes under an overarching topic. This is the honor study topic. Each theme serves as a different lens through which the honor study topic may be viewed through. Themes and the topic are presented in our honors program guide, which we develop a research question based on real-world issues. After our planning and research process, we will create an action-oriented project that would provide tangible support to our communities. Now, we want to acknowledge that chapters across the region have varying strengths, abilities, sizes, and resources available to them. Whatever the case may be, even though the HIA process may seem lengthy and intimidating, it's a project that we believe chapters of all sizes with any sort of resources can accomplish and do so well. To really provide thorough guidance on how truly any chapter could take on and make an amazing HIA project, we've compiled some tips and tricks that can be used to aid your chapter through the HIA process. Okay, so first, let's talk about getting a team together for Honors and Action. HIA is a project that benefits from varying perspectives, and the discussions are even more interesting with input from people with differing experiences and ideas. With this being said, a team for this project does not necessarily need to be an extremely large one. At the very minimum, an HIA team can consist of simply 2 members. This is because when the HIA Hallmark is submitted, 2 team members' names are required to be listed under the Hallmark submission. Now, when we step into the research portion of the HIA project, we can look to some useful resources that PTK International has provided us with. One of these resources is Research Edge, which we would really like to encourage chapters to take advantage of. Research Edge is one of PTK's professional development courses. This Edge course is dedicated entirely to introducing and walking you through the Honors in Action project. Research Edge breaks down the 3 big portions of HIA: research, action, and impact. This course is entirely self-paced as well, so that you can actually learn at your own pace. Although this is not the entire document that you see up on the screen here on the right, you will see part of the learning outcomes that the Research Edge course goes into detail on. This document is also actually provided to you in the course. So if you're looking for a good starting point for HIA or have members that are just unsure about the process, this is a really great place to get started or just to learn more. Furthermore, to encourage members to take advantage of this resource, completing Research Edge could be incorporated into your chapter's HIA process. For example, Alpha Gamma Pi is awarding members with additional participation hours for completing Research Edge. And we are actually planning to host workshops within our chapter to go through the Edge course as a group. It could even make for a fun fellowship opportunity. Next up is our wonderful program guide. The Honors Program Guide is like our instruction manual for HIA.
The new honors program guide, The Art of Science and Play, will be used for the next 2 years. It contains 7 theme areas for your chapter to discuss. But you only select the one theme where your chapter's honor and action research and project fits the best. HIA projects incorporate academic research and analysis, action, service, or advocacy, collaborations, and impact. The current Phi Theta Kappa Honors Program Guide is the main resource to help you develop and implement your honors into action project. Think of honors in action like this. Chapters research to identify what the real needs are, and then act to fulfill those needs. Complete research and planning. Action in measuring the impact / results of doing this project. And be sure to include how members working on the project learn new skills and grew as leaders.
The program guide also has a thorough breakdown of the project. This includes a project process, an explanation of the honor study topic, and an in-depth description of the 7 themes. This is great material for your chapters to read, dissect, and discuss, especially the themes. You will find your chapter's passions this way, and it will really help decide the direction of your project. In addition to this, the program guide also contains really helpful resources that walk you through different processes, such as identifying and analyzing academic resources. Before I move on to our next tip, let me ask you all, have any of you ever sat down to start a really big essay and just stared at that blank page while it stared right back at you, almost as if it was mocking you? I do know the feeling all too well. Some of you might feel like this when starting a big project like HIA, or might be at a loss for what your project should even look like, but you are not alone. So many PTK members have taken on the HIA project throughout the years. Fun fact, the first honor study topic was actually established way back in 1968. How cool is that? Okay, so the great thing is there's a place for you to look for inspiration, and this is the Civic Scholar Journal, a Phi Theta Kappa journal of undergraduate research. This journal features many successful honors and action projects developed and submitted by chapters.
Included in the program guide is a planning and judging rubric for the Honors and Action Project. This is the very rubric that will be used to judge your Honors and Action Project when it's submitted to PTK headquarters. It's always a good idea to refer back to this rubric while going through the project to make sure your team is checking off all the boxes. It will also help your chapter take the project step by step. There are many free and accessible resources that can be used to produce physical support to your community for your action project. For example, Canva is a free, versatile, web-based graphic design program that can be used to create anything from slideshows to posters, to flyers, to brochures. This is a tool used by our chapter constantly, and is a tool we used to make flyers for our Honors and Action project last semester. Google Site is also a free tool that can be used to create your own website. It was also used by chapters to create a site for our Honors and Action project.
Be sure to take advantage of your free campus resources. For example, Alpha Omicron worked with our institutional effectiveness department to craft an unbiased survey for our Honors and Action project, and they also helped us do the statistical analysis of our survey results. Another year, our local Parks and Wildlife Department provided expert advice on a park restoration project that Alpha Omicron hosted for a different Honors and Action project. Lastly, throughout your project, be curious and really delve into your passions. The stronger your chapter's passion and curiosity for the research that's being performed is, the more engaging your project will be. Don't be afraid to adapt and shift in the middle of your project. If your research findings show you something new, frequently your action will change due to your research findings. We're coming from personal experience here. After our research was completed, we ended up having to change our research question.
All right, so you will see here some resources that we referenced throughout our presentation that we will now drop in the chat to you. or you can also feel free to take a screenshot of the page right here. All right, so we've talked about honors and action. After HIA, to get that last star, your chapter would need to submit at least 3 Hallmark Awards. These three, out of these three, 2 of these have to be the Honors and Action Project Award, the College Project Award, and at least 1 individual award of your chapter's choosing. This could be a member award, an officer, or even an advisor award.
The Hallmark reporting process makes us review what we've done and reflect on what we could have done better, something we might not take the time to do if it were not required to do so to earn 5-star status. Since we are going to put a lot of work into these projects, it would be nice to know how PTK is going to grade your report. And the way we do that is by following the rubrics for HIA, college project, and individual awards. Chapters that score well on these Hallmark project reports print out the rubrics and make sure they provide everything that the project asks for, step by step. Every rubric step is a clear list of actions that will direct your chapter like a roadmap to 5-star status. Follow these guides and you cannot go wrong.
And last but most definitely not least, our last objective would be to get involved internationally. There are a few ways your chapter could fulfill this requirement, and your chapter only needs to complete 1 of these activities. Our first way to get involved internationally would be to attend international events. This could be PTK Catalyst or the Honors Institute. A minimum of a single member would have to attend 1 of these events in order to fulfill that requirement for the entire chapter. If attending an international event isn't an option, have no fear. There's still more ways to participate internationally. All chapter officers serving this year can complete at least 1 EDGE in a PTK EDGE course, or they can complete at least 1 unit in PTK's Leadership Development Studies course online, which is abbreviated as LDS. One more way to participate internationally is by submitting an entry in the Honors Case Study Challenge, which is also an opportunity to earn $500 and be recognized internationally. Now that's really awesome. It is really worth noting that your chapter's growth and goals do not have to follow this exact order that we have presented to you. And with this, your chapter will have successfully achieved that wonderful 5-star status.
So now is the perfect time to plan to be a 5-star chapter for 2022. Your chapter has from April to December to accomplish everything on the 5-star chapter development plan. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Consider these points when building that all-important chapter calendar. We are dropping a link in the chat so you can have the complete list. If you're starting from scratch or rebuilding your chapter, these points will be a big help in planning your 2022 to 2023 year.
All right, everyone, be sure you grab that link and capture that information to take back to your chapters. Now, the list is pretty clear here. Plan to set chapter meeting dates. For a 5-star chapter, you need to meet twice a month. Schedule dates and reserve rooms for 2 inductions. I don't know about your campus, but ours, it's tough to get a room sometimes. Ceremonies should be in November or usually in March for those 2 inductions. Pick a date to elect chapter officers and another for officer training soon after your election process. Officers make 5-star events happen with the help of advisors. Once you have those officers, teach officers and members how to journal. That's just taking notes on your activities, conferences, and chapter projects. You'll need those notes when preparing your Hallmark reports. Schedule a date to meet with your administration to see what they have in mind for your college project. The summertime's a good idea because it's less hectic on most campuses. Schedule some dates with your chapter to take that honors program guide and discuss the themes, maybe after attending the Summer Honors Institutes. Plan meetings to train your team how to do research. Involve your campus librarian or other experts on your campus. And how about doing Research Edge together? It's very important to remember that your research shows the chapter what your project activity is supposed to do, not the other way around. You don't do a project and then find some research that makes it match. So set a date when that research is going to be done. Otherwise, it might never end, so you can get on with the project. And finally, this has got a lot of stuff, which is why I want you to look at it closely. In November or so, start planning a meeting to review everyone's journal notes to get started on that Hallmark reporting process. Get your Hallmark reports turned in by mid-January 2023. And plan to attend an information session that the region offers on running for regional office. Even if your chapter isn't thinking about running, if you send an advisor and one representative, they're going to learn a lot about what might be involved in running for office. Finally, send a chapter representative and plan ahead so you have the funds available to send a representative or a team, or a herd in our case, to Texas Honors Institute. That's in July. The Leadership Conference, which is always in Texas, in October. Our Texas Regional Convention falls in March, and Catalyst generally falls in April.
Before we close, we'd like to acknowledge the people. Oh, wait. As our presentation draws to a close, we would like to remind you that everything presented here leads back to the 4 hallmarks of Phi Theta Kappa: scholarship, leadership, service, and a fellowship. Becoming a 5-star chapter is not something done just by the advisors or the officer team. It's something that brings a chapter together and helps students embody those hallmarks. This should be an experience that engages students and helps them gain valuable experience for their futures. Before we close, we'd like to acknowledge the people that made this workshop possible. Thank you to our esteemed chapter advisors for always lifting us up and promoting our growth. Thank you for the chapter members that work behind the scenes. We could have never finished this without you. And thank you to Professor Mary Linder, the head of the Texas region, for providing this opportunity to get us involved at a regional level.
At this time, if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask now, either by unmuting or posting the question in chat. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So unfortunately, your college project and HIA can't actually be the same project. You do have to work on 2 separate projects.
Can you repeat the question for the people that can't read the chat?
Oh, yes, sorry. The question was, can the Honors in Action and college project be the same project? And again, the answer is no.
I'm going to hop on and ask a question because I'm always curious to understand better what other chapters do, because I think there's a lot we can always learn from each other. How do each of your chapters kind of handle the calendar with respect to the 5-star plan? I know I've heard Gigi talk about this in the past, about how she has a calendar that she's like, this has to be done by this day, this to kind of keep everything on track. And so I'm curious to hear that from both chapters.
Gamma Pi, does someone want to speak to that?
Yeah, Brandy, do you want to speak to that?
So we run on a similar calendar base. We do have, certain deadlines that have to be met at certain times, but you also have to understand that that's not always going to be the perfect plan that you want it to be. Things are going to happen. You're going to fall behind. You're going to need more time on things. Things will take longer than anticipated. So I think the general idea for our chapter is we try to adhere to specific deadlines when working on our project, but we also base that on when we were able to start, how many people we were able to have working on it, and what kind of obstacles we have to face whenever we're dealing with the actual project. So just know that when you are working on it, it's not going to be a perfect picture. It never will be. If it was that easy, then, no one would have these workshops, right? But I do feel like you don't want to get overwhelmed or disappointed. You just gotta keep rolling with the punches and pick up where you can, and then, give yourself a break where you need to as well.
Super answer. One of the things we don't want to confuse people on is we have a chapter calendar with our meetings and set big events. Then we sit down and come up with an Honors in Action timeline of when that's going to happen. And we incorporate dates from the Honors in Action calendar into our main chapter calendar. We don't put the whole thing in there, but we do have it planned. Then we make a timeline for college project, and we do the same with the big events going into our main chapter calendar. Now, one thing that we do do in our chapter is we send out the fall calendar. And while we have the spring calendar at work, the spring calendar doesn't come out until January. So we know that there'll be some things shifting around each semester. And so we kind of have time to play some catch up there. But by creating timelines for your Honors in Action and College project, not only do you have some set dates when things should be accomplished, but that's a great item that you might want to upload when you upload your Honors in Action project to explain the planning that your chapter had prior to turning in the project.
I'm really glad you hit on that point because that's something that a lot of chapters overlook. The semesters change and people switch out and then everybody's lost all over again unless you document and journal accurately.
We also had a question in the chat. Is it possible to get individual credit for college project or HIA for each member? Aaliyah, can you answer that one?
I can, and that's actually a really great question. So the chapter as a whole is recognized for the STAR levels, college project and HIA included, but if individual members are actually interested in research and want to participate in their own in some sort of way, they can always submit the Honors Case Study Challenge, which was mentioned before. That's again an opportunity for members to earn $500 for their chapter or also be recognized internationally. Again, that's based off of the Honors in Action project as well. So that's a really great opportunity for individuals who want to get involved themselves.
And actually, Alpha Gamma Pi is happy to announce that one of our members, Oliver Kipp, who is actually an officer this semester, won one of the honors case topics. So he is amazing and it's a really good opportunity. And he's so excited to be at International. So we have a question in the chat. Is there a type of project that you wouldn't recommend we do? Maybe from a logistics or scale point of view. I would love for someone from Alpha Omicron to talk about this because y'all did a really big project.
I'll start that. I'm going to let my chapter folks chime in. Victoria, I know you were deeply involved with the research. Part of it is keeping in mind that we dream big and then kind of haul ourselves back down to reality with what's realistic. And that comes back to that timeline. And this is a great place to remind people that whatever ideas you might have, those ideas are probably going to be changed when you do your research. I cannot think of a single project that we went into that we did not change our focus in some way. And because of what we found when we started doing the research about our local area, when you started interviewing people on your campus or industry experts, suddenly the focus shifted from what we thought maybe we were going to do to what actually was going to benefit our campus and community. And that research is pretty critical. Victoria, can you talk about some of the things we did with our research to get focused on our campus?
We did in research was, in my opinion, it's very important. We looked at who we were actually going to have on hand to do certain tasks. So that allowed us to kind of plan how big our project could be and what we could reasonably do. So if, for example, your chapter is going to have 2 people working on this, you have to be realistic about what those 2 people can accomplish. If you have a much bigger group, that's great. Very clearly define who has what task so that there aren't people doing multiple work or other people thinking someone else has the plan for that. So that would be my biggest advice on how to make something like this manageable, is to really try to accurately assess honestly what you can accomplish. You can always accomplish more than you think, but you don't want to reach so high that you're overtaxing your membership.
All right, so we have a question. Do projects end in a semester? How about you answer that one too, Victoria?
Ours didn't. We didn't have our project was just one and done over the semester, but everything we do, we kind of work at as we go. So we start as early as we can with planning, and then we keep it involved and going the entire time. So we're not trying to just be like, all right, we have 1 month to get this done, let's get it done. The idea is if you are steadily working towards something, you can get something done, and you just have to plan.
Keep in mind, it's a calendar year. So there's from January to December. So there's 2 semesters involved in every year's Hallmark reporting projects.
Okay, so we have a question. How do our members get trained on how to do all of this? Preston, do you want to answer this one?
Sure. Yeah. So at least I can't speak for everybody, honestly, but at least when it comes to president of service, we had our last service officer. She sat me and Zach, because Zach used to do service too. She sat us down and she actually did a whole like packet and goes through the whole packet. I wouldn't say like a big like 10, 20 pages or anything, but like probably 2 or 3 pages of references of people that she contacted and people that the last service officer used to contact. And she said, yeah, here's some. With service, it's pretty broad. It's not you have to contact these people. You can pretty much just do you kind of just to have an idea. Like for example, I got in contact with a lady that she runs a company that's all volunteer work for veterans, and we're hoping to get a project due later in April to where we can go paint houses or work at the soup kitchen, or we're wanting to do Starbright, which is this horse therapy for children, stuff like that. So with service, it's a little broad. You just got to kind of poke around and see what's around your area. And yeah, I mean, it's mostly just kind of you learn through experience somewhat, but also if you have people that were doing it for a while, they can kind of ease you into it, in my opinion, at least.
I love that answer, Preston. And just to kind of add on to where you can, gain some resources that you can actually touch and see and learn from, I think would be on ptk.org. There's so much good information there. You'll find a bunch of stuff on like helpful tips, a link to the HIA program guide, a video to watch. There's also examples of College Project and HIA on that website. And so you can just find that information by searching the terms Honors in Action or College Project. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat for those that are curious about that.
I'd also like to, go ahead, Gigi.
I was just going to mention that Catalyst is coming up. We just had our regional convention. There'll be leadership in the fall. And at each of these events, there are workshops specifically designed for chapter officers, for Honors in Action, for College Project. And now that we're finally back live and we're getting to see people and talk to people and learn from each other, you're going to want to take advantage of those educational forums at Catalyst. And you're definitely going to want to take advantage of the workshops offered in the Texas region, because our people do it right.
And kind of lending to that point, if you can send someone to the Honors Institute, please do, because even if it's just one person, they can come back with all of that knowledge and all of that experience and present it to your other chapter members. So just getting one person there is going to do a ton of work for you. So we have another question. How do you address the members that want to be active in HIA or College Project, but they can't make it to in-person meetings?
I can try to take that one. So actually, Alpha Gamma Pi, for our Honors in Action projects, we also host virtual meetings. And when there was talk about going back in person, we discussed holding hybrid meetings so that if anyone was geographically limited or didn't have the time or didn't have the means to make an in-person meeting, they could always hop online and join us that way. And in addition to that, we always also make our resources available to members after our meetings too. So whatever we have, our presentation slides or scripts, any other resources we provided, we always post those in our Discord, which is our main platform of communication to keep everyone updated. So if someone missed a meeting, they could still kind of go through our meeting and kind of get a meeting recap that way, so that they're still involved, they're still caught up, and they can always reach out to us and ask us for questions or for help even.
And to add on to that, actually, Aaliyah is our HIA officer, or one of the two that we have working solely on Honors in Action. And I know there's been several times where I'll have a meeting that conflicts with the Honors in Action meeting. And, instead of saying, oh, well, sorry, you just can't be a part of it. I mean, there's a whole drive that they established in Google to set up all of the documents. There's notes for every meeting. All the research and the work that's been done is all stored there, and anyone that wants to be a part of Honors in Action, no matter how big or small the part, will gain access to that drive. And so we all have shared information, so we're all on the same page with the project. And so you can actually do, sometimes we'll assign research work outside of meeting times or any other, like when we did our cybersecurity posters, people made those posters on their own time also, not just in the meetings. So there are different components to the project that you can assign outside of normal meeting times to be active.
Absolutely. So we have a question. Do we have to do a skit for 3 stars? How about Zach? Can you answer that question? Oh,
Yeah.
did we lose Zach?
I'm trying to tell. They're over there. I can see them, but they're fighting with their computer. I'll jump on, and if they make it in, that's good. The skit, you can always do a speech. The skit is totally optional for representing your chapter. It's just yet another way of involving everyone that is at the convention. One of the rules of the skit is everybody that comes has to have a part. They may hold up a sign, they may run the music, they may be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a speaking part. Everyone does not necessarily have to dress up like Deadpool to get your point across, but it's bad. Okay, yeah, he's at the door going, it's not working. So we're fine. But you can come in here and wave at them.
I feel like this was a trick question.
I'm still in the
Can
meeting.
we read
but
that
my
question
whole computer
again?
is frozen. I can't do anything and can't move. So
It's okay. Thank you.
I was watching the panic in the ranks out there. No, we're good. We're good. But I will say this, that I have at the beginning, I said, we're going to do a skit. And I believe Zach said, what? And yet, as you can see, he fell into it with a lot of fun. But no, you don't have to. Your campaign for regional office can just be very dignified. And as you saw with the 1 minute recap, we do have an opportunity to judge. He was awesome. How sweet. But we do have an opportunity to have a very serious moment to share what your chapter represents for the region. The chat's pretty cool here. Everyone must dress like a superhero. It's a 6th secret star. We like it. The Superman pose.
All right, we've got another question coming in. I know the college project is to help improve the school and the community, but do you think there's a specific demographic we should focus on? This is a really good question, and I'd like to take this one myself. There isn't a specific demographic you should focus on, other than that it should be the students, obviously, that you're helping to assist. However, a lot of people with their college projects focus on an equity situation. So if there is a community within your student group that really needs assistance, that's something that's really cool to focus on. But you have to remember, your college administrators really are the ones who pick your college project, because you have to fall in line with their goals. So you can go into it with a lot of ideas, but just keep in mind, you do have to play nice with the college administrators at the end of the day. Okay, we've got another question. What methods do you use to journal and pass that information on throughout the process? Aaliyah, I think you'd be good for this one.
Yeah, I can answer that. All right, so actually this semester, we started planning out a new process for journaling. Last semester, since everything was online, we had all of our notes in Google Doc. But this semester, my HIA officer partner and I, we've started making a template for HIA journaling, so that if someone wants to write on an iPad, or if someone wants to do it physically, scan their notes in, they can do that. But then, like Brandy mentioned, we actually compile all of our research. This includes our journaling notes in our Google Doc, or I'm sorry, in our shared Google Drive. That way everyone has access to it, and it stays available to our chapter and our members throughout the years even. So it's available for future Phi Theta Kappas to utilize as well. I hope that answers your question.
Can I add a note here that it's one thing journaling will do for those of you that are filling out college scholarships. If you actually journal your own experiences, you're going to have the material at your fingertips to be able to really put facts into your scholarship applications. I know, Victoria, you have kept immaculate records of your service hours. What are you up to in service hours now?
I think for this year, since last semester, I have like 95 hours, I think. So I keep track of it. I go back and look at what I've done that might apply to the prompt. And I just make sure also be specific, because anytime you're writing for something, everybody's going to go, I really helped by participating and I was very good about stuff. But if you're able to say, I did this, this, and this is what I personally had ownership of, that is going to really reflect well on you. And you get those bits of information through your journaling process, because by keeping track of what everyone did, you keep track of what you did, and you have wonderful stuff to fall back on if you're ever at a loss.
She happens to be a Coca-Cola Silver Scholar, so I think the plan worked well for her.
All right, does anyone else have any other questions before we wrap this up?
I want to encourage chapters out there to consider doing a workshop with another chapter. Alpha Gamma Pi is down in Austin. Alpha Omicron is up in Tyler. And through our virtual world, we kind of start out going, who are these people and what on earth are we trying to do? And by the end, last night we were chatting like best buddies, and you really get a chance to know people. And I told them, I said, I'm so excited. I cannot wait for Alpha Gamma Pi members to be on the stage in Denver, because I'm gonna go, I know these people. Yeah. So I'm so excited, and hope I will see a bunch of you guys at Catalyst.
We are equally excited to know your large chapter when you roll in with 30 members at the in-person event. So we were super excited to get to work with y'all as well. And we look forward to more collaborations and service projects and just learning from each other and sharing information. I think that's what the best part about Phi Theta Kappa is, that we are all part of the same organization and we can share information, and we don't have to keep it a secret. We should want everyone to succeed, not just our own chapters.
And I would also like to mention, for those of you who are watching the presentation or who are currently at the presentation, if you want to reach out to us for more information, the first 2 slides that show the members on them have email addresses for you to contact people. So feel free to reach out if you want more information, if you'd like some ideas, whatever the case may be.
If I could just add something real quick. I want everyone who's seeing this to really, really think about doing all the steps on it. Don't make it a maybe, make it something you are doing, and don't be afraid to do any of it. There are so many resources, both online and with each other. If you have any questions, just ask, because we would all love to be able to help everybody do stuff. So just don't be afraid to start the process.
Absolutely. We succeed together as a group.
Let's all go get 5-star.
Yeah.
Good job,
Thank you everyone for attending. We really appreciate everyone who turned out.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.